9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Rising Coaches Member Spotlight presented by Lucio Sports. Right now, when you sign up for Rising Coaches, you get free access to Lucio Sports apps. Their apps are being used in NBA timeouts and huddles, as well as college huddles and even high school huddles. Their app, Huddle, aptly named, right, allows you to animate plays and show them to your teams, the full animation in timeouts on an iPad right before they have to go out and execute. Teams that have been using it, their ATOs have gone through the roof in terms of productivity. So make sure you sign up for Rising Coaches today, get a membership, and with that, you'll get free access to Lucio Sports. All right, today we are joined by Carolyn Smalls. Carolyn, what's up? How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to see you. Hey, Adam, how are you?
Yeah, doing great. So what's going on, Carolyn? Tell us what's new in your world before we dive into your journey.
The most recent what's new is just going back into the building and teaching students. We've been virtual up until about a month ago. And they're slowly bringing in more students, like wave by wave every 2 weeks. So that is the new thing that's going on, and just trying to navigate having to teach 6-year-olds what 6 feet is, and that you need to stay away and you can't touch anyone, and your mask needs to be above your nose. That whole thing, that is very new.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been a great week so far.
Well, good. Well, Carolyn, let's get into hoops. Tell us, about your background, where you grew up, and how you got into coaching.
So I'm originally from Long Island, New York. My parents are still there. I currently live in Baltimore, Maryland. Growing up, my dad's a huge Knicks fan. So we watched the Knicks growing up. He had a job where we actually were able to get Knicks tickets for a really cheap discount. So we would go to games all the time until we got Amari Stoudemire and Carmelo Anthony, and the tickets went right up. But that was kind of my first intro into basketball, and me and my friends would always play. And I went to a private school. I went to Waldorf, the Walsh School of Garden City, which is right next to Adelphi in Garden City on Long Island. So I went there for K through 12. I went there my entire time. And once we were in 6th or 7th grade, we could join the team. And I joined the basketball team, and I was really enjoyed it. I loved the sport. And then in high school, my freshman year, it was me and I think 3 other freshmen on that team. And our coach was a very disciplined person. He wanted you to be at practice on time. And if you missed practice, you usually didn't start. If you were late to the bus, you usually didn't start. And it just so happened that I was a point guard, and the point guard that was a senior was late all the time or wouldn't show up. So I was able to start whether I was ready or not for it. It was happening. So it was really interesting just to kind of have that fish out of water type of feel, where I definitely wasn't ready to start, but he let me play and kind of go through it. So that was really interesting. And I just kind of realized how competitive I was and how much I wanted to give to the game. And we were good, but not great. And then me and one of my classmates realized we're the best ones on the team, and we're only going to go as far as we go. So we kind of made a pact, hey, we're just going to be friends. We're just going to put whatever aside and just really do our best to bring this team to the next level and win a championship, because they hadn't won. I mean, it was a really long time. It was at least 6 or 7 years since they had won a championship. And I actually remember watching that team win, because we used to have an aftercare program, and I used to stay after, and we could watch the games. And my friend's sister was on that team that won. So it was always something that we just wanted to win. And then we just kind of got more and more invested in it. We started actually looking up the other teams, best player the night before. We looked at the standings all the time. And it kind of became a little bit obsessive, because our teachers knew we were putting in way too much time into this. And they were like, what are you all doing? But we would have charts and stuff this is what we need to do against her for the first half, second half. And I was like, I think I could do this. I think I want to be interested in doing this. as a career maybe. And then I went to Salisbury University in Maryland near Ocean City. And I didn't really have a plan when I first got there. And like my second semester, third semester, I decided I was going to be a physical education major because I figured it'd be the easiest way to get into coaching. So I did that. And I did do the book for our Salisbury women's team. I did the book there for a year or two for their home games. And then I graduated. I moved here to Baltimore, and I've been teaching in Howard County and trying to just get affiliated with teams through that. And that's actually how I got affiliated with the team I'm with now. Is the school that I work at, he was there my first year, and he would come in and practice once school was over. So we'd seen each other, spoke a few times, and then we reconnected in a gym last year. I was with a team and he was with his team. And I was like, we know each other, but we didn't really remember where. We reconnected. He said, hey, I really want, some more female coaches. Would love to have you. It's an AAU program. And ever since then, I've been dived in with them since the summer and just putting in a lot of work with them.
And what is the program that you're working with now?
It's called United Basketball Club of Maryland.
Okay, awesome.
So, yeah.
Okay, well, let's back up. First of all, you got to give me the scouting report. I'm going to guess scrappy point guard, fierce defender, quick hands. I'm going to say you were a driver more than a shooter, and kind of like a glue player. Hey,
yeah, I wasn't very, very close. I wasn't a shooter. I did not. If I had to score, I would, but it wasn't my goal. Like I definitely had way more assists all the time. We probably had like 7 to 8 assists a game. Like, did not like shooting. I wasn't confident in my shot probably until the end of like sophomore season, early junior season. I kind of had to rework it because I am shorter, so I had like the 2-hand push going on. So I had all of freshman year, I like broke it down and like actually got good form going. So it was great because the girl that was in my class was the complete opposite. She was all offensive minded. She was tall. So we had a really great, Stockton Malone type game going on that we would, just decimate teams with. It was great.
I love it. Dude, the Jazz reference, throwing it back to the 90s. What were your memories of like those Knicks games? Like this was like when they were bad, right? You're talking pretty.
Yes.
They've been bad for a while, right? Sorry, no offense to the Knicks, but but like, yeah, tell us about those memories. Just like,
the highlight of being a Knicks fan when I was younger was like we got David Lee. It was like we drafted David Lee and like Nate Robinson. Though that was like the highlight, and then we had Jared Jeffries. And I was like 10, and I was like, I am smart enough to know that this is not the guy we need starting for us. I was like, he's averaging like 4 points. But it was really awesome having the ability to just go to games because we would go very frequent, like maybe like 3 or 4 times a season. We would go to Knicks games. It's like a 45-minute train ride from where I live. So we would go to the Garden all the time. And I was actually there when the Nuggets and the Knicks had that big brawl with J.R. Smith and Carmelo Anthony. I was there, but we left early.
You missed the brawl.
Yeah, because my dad was like, I don't want to have to wait, for 3 trains just to go, or they're gonna lose anyway.
Right.
Man, all right. So we left, and then like his friend called and was like, hey, you're at the game. Did you just see that? And my dad's like, what is happening? So ever since then, I've always stayed until the very end, until the last guy goes into the locker room, just because you never know what's gonna happen. But it was really cool. We had the opportunity, a alumni that went to our high school, she worked for the Knicks. So like our senior year, she was able to get us tickets, and we were able to actually like get passes and go down to like the floor and like be on the floor with the players as they were like warming up and everything. And that was just a really great experience to like, you think Madison Square Garden's big, it's big, but like when you're in center court, you're like, holy, this is huge.
That's awesome.
Yes, that was really good. Love Carmelo. I wish we had gotten Carmelo back. I would think that would have been a great storyline for us, and not like we're going anywhere fast. So, I definitely have a soft spot for the Knicks. Love the Knicks, and they're a great team to watch because you realize that winning is not everything, and you have to really love the sport and love the team to continue to root for them through all the madness and decision making that they make.
Sure. So I grew up in LA and I was a Lakers fan from the time I was really little, but sometime I was probably like, I don't know, 14, 15 or so. We got like tickets to the like all the Clippers games. And this is back when like they were in the sports arena, which
Oh,
was like such a shithole. Uh, and it was back when the Clippers were terrible. And we had like Maurice Taylor, Jeff McGinnis, Lamont Murray, Eric Piakowski, like terrible, terrible teams. But I mean, same thing. Like I just loved, it was so awesome to get to go and no one would be at the game. So you could like, you
yeah,
could go literally, you could walk down all the way to like the 10th row and
right,
then like not one usher or security guard would say anything to you. And yeah, you get to watch NBA Paul like up close in person.
right.
And
And it's just
I
the
loved,
atmosphere.
yeah, the atmosphere is amazing. I loved our guy. Like I love still to this day, like I love Jeff McGinnis and then, even though like we rarely won, but
Sometimes
when
you
they did, like
losing
every
guys.
once in a while, they would win and pull off like an upset, and it'd be like, "Yes, my guys."
Right. It's like when Nate Robinson won the dunk contest like 2 years in a row. Like that was like my claim to fame as a Knicks fan. Like I was like, yeah, we're doing something big, guys. Like we're really, we're out there. But yeah, it's been funny, but I'm lucky. I'm really glad that, being from New York, I was able to go. Like we went to a Christmas Day game. We've kind of gone on major holidays. We went to St. Patrick's Day game once. So I'll be really excited to kind of be able to go back to games and, kind of experience that whole vibe again.
Yeah, and there's like a new energy around the Knicks right now. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, people think we're doing big things.
you don't sound
I don't think.
optimistic. You sound
No.
like you got to see it first.
Yeah, I think we maybe go to the playoffs, but I don't think we could we may not. I don't know. We're definitely a play-in team type of vibe in my opinion, but we'll see.
Look, that would be a big deal. Like, when's the
Yeah,
last
it would
time?
be. Yes, yes. But I think Knicks fans in general need to have, my expectations are very tapered and, I think we're probably worse than we are. But that's like my outlook. I'd rather be better than we think than be worse than I think, you know?
You've been beaten down by years of mediocrity.
Yeah, years of losing and poor management.
Okay, so let's get back to your career. Sorry to take us off on that tangent. So talk to us about the AAU program you're working with and what age group. Like, do you work with all the teams? Do you work with a certain age group? And what's that been like?
So it's been really difficult to join the team now during COVID, as you can imagine, with all the protocols and everything and getting to know players and staff. But like I said, we kind of reconnected in a gym last February. Maybe it was even December. It was before everything, with COVID kind of really hit. And so we had just connected. It was like, hey, here's my number. Let me know if if you're interested. And because I remember when I started working, when I met him originally, he had said it was a brand new club. And so I was like, I can't be, that old. So just through talking to him, he really wanted to create an AAU atmosphere that players could still play other sports. And it doesn't need to be competitive, but if you want to have the option to go play soccer or lacrosse or something, you can go do that and still have a high level of practice and play against high level competition when you come onto the basketball court. Just giving players the option to not hyper focusing, because that's kind of the laser focus right now as we get these kids in, which I thought was great because his kids do that. His daughter plays soccer and it definitely helps her on the basketball court, So I think that's a really good thing that kind of makes that program stand out. So the team that I'm with is 8th grade girls. We have a few 7th grade girls playing up every other game usually. But it's been really great to just work with them and even to see their growth from the summer to now in their mindset and their actual skills, and now to the game just grow. But I'm with basically that one team, whereas a few other coaches kind of move around and do multiple other teams. But it's been great to just kind of learn just how an AAU program is run and what goes into it, and kind of making myself available to run their social media and things like that, and coming up with plays and stuff like that. Is just trying to make yourself useful and also learn at the same time. So it's been great so far.
Okay, and tell me about like what is your like career aspirations? Do you love working at the youth level and the grassroots level? Do you want to just eventually have your own program there? Are you interested in coaching different age groups? You want to coach college one day?
Yeah, definitely get to the college level on the women's side. That would be the ultimate career goal. Yeah, just because I think through teaching, the reason I picked teaching to be my major in college was, aside from I thought it'd be an easy avenue to get into coaching. Coaching in my eyes is just teaching, and if you can teach, you can coach. And I wanted to really spend years learning how to teach, because I am more naturally a more quiet, reserved, to myself person. So I thought teaching and majoring that would help me branch out and use some skills that are going to be necessary to be successful in communication and instruction with other people. So definitely, I think all that will help me move forward into the women's college game for sure.
Oh, absolutely. If you can teach 6-year-olds and keep them in order,
Yeah,
certainly you can teach basketball to some older teenagers
who actually want to be there.
Right. So how have you attacked trying to move up to that level or make connections during this pandemic? It's a hard time, right? You can't get face to face.
Yeah, you can't. So I reached out because I'm actually an online graduate student at Goucher College, because here in Maryland, you need to have a certain amount of credits in order to continue teaching. And at that point, you might as well just get a master's with the amount of credits you need to get. So I'm just working towards my master's now. So I reached out to Goucher and a few other programs, in the area, just about going in, sitting in on a practice or two. But because of COVID, that's not really possible. But just emailing coaches, trying to build, because I recently just got on Twitter, trying to just build a social media and network through that way. I've been doing some Zooms, kind of interviewing collegiate coaches and on the women's side, and just trying to pick their brain about that. So yeah, just trying to attack from any avenue. And of course, Rising Coaches, just meeting people and hopping on as many Zooms as possible just to learn has really been I would say the biggest thing I've done, on top of just podcasts, following up. Hey, if I hear a really good podcast, maybe I reach out to the host of the podcast, tell them what I liked. And, just starts a conversation, and, things like that. You just never know where it can go.
Absolutely. What's the phrase? A closed mouth doesn't get fed. So good for you for speaking up. All right, Carolyn, last thing, since you mentioned podcasts, I think you've also been on a couple of the book clubs. Give us a book or a podcast that, has really spoken to you.
I listen to my people that know me are you're insane. Cause I'm subscribed to over 35 podcasts, and I listen to them on time and a half.
Oh, do you really? You speed it up to get through more?
I speed it up. I do, because I'm that insane. I will say, I think just my favorite one and it's very new, and I want to make sure I get the name right, so I'm going to check it right now. But it is Spinsters.
Okay.
Spinsters. Let me make sure that's actually, but I'm pretty sure it's Spinsters. Where is it? When you have all these podcasts you're subscribed to. Yes, Spinsters. It's very new. It's with Haley O'Shaughnessy and Jordan. I don't know what her last name is, but they kind of cover NBA, WNBA. They're maybe 5 or 6 episodes in. And that has kind of been my new go-to list. And that's been really interesting. And it's nice, because I feel a lot of podcasts that I listen to since they are basketball, they are predominantly men. So it's nice to just hear other women talking about basketball and giving their perspective and feedback as well. So I would say that's my new one.
All right. Shout out to Spinsters. I got to check that out. I love it.
Yeah, they're really good.
All right. Well, Carolyn, hey, I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us this morning, and appreciate you you have been super involved with all the Zooms on Rising Coaches. So appreciate your presence within our community, and wish you the best of luck. I'm sure I'll see you soon.
Yeah, thanks, you too.
Thanks, Carolyn.